fine. So basically, as you come up the stairs, you will be dropped right into the artist's world. It's not sort of a dead white cube space that we're trying to do. We're doing some of that where the pieces are paid their respect, but we want to give a little insight into how an artist lives with his work, how he goes from inspiration to all the way to creation to all the way through how it ends up and where it lives. So when you come in, there'll be a text explanation that will be delivered soon, and then you'll be dropped right into the artists. The first one is Tom Stevens, and as you can see, we brought the easel from his studio, and there's some photographs of him working and what his studio's like, and then the artwork. And really, I think that Tom's work exemplifies what we're talking about here, because it really shows all the layers of all the process of how he lays it down and everything else. And it goes from everything from him building his own stretchers and whatever else to the photographs that he looks at and the experiences on the water that these are talking about, and then everything from the first layer to the last layer, and then thickness of all the way that it goes through. So you will move from Tom's pieces right into Sabrina's work. Sabrina's work stays, she builds her stuff, and she spends a lot of time, it's meditative, so she spends a lot of time in her home sewing and drawing and really experiencing that kind of womb, that warmness of being in that thing and the intimacy that she has with her own work. So, and then the paintings and the drawings that are on the wall kind of show that process of just the little sketches from the sewing to the little sketches and how she sort of lives in her space. So there's some of her musical playing and her furniture is here, and it's just kind of a little kind of slice of her life and her everyday thing. Some of this stuff's not going to be lit yet. We're right into Nathan Skiles. Nathan Skiles makes all of his work about the kitsch and everyday objects, but what he's done is they're all created out of foam. So it's not a birdhouse. It's actually the idea of a birdhouse made out of this ultralight foam that's cut out with a laser by this machine. And so that pile of scrap on the floor is all the materials that it's made out of, so all the laser excess and whatever else. These will be blanks, and during the course of the exhibition, the pieces that get put on there will be put on during the conversation that he has with the actual clients and whatever else, and that'll be created. And then this hat is actually made of the same material. And there's the artist himself wandering in.
So wait, this starts tomorrow?
It starts, tonight is our vernissage, so that's our collectors tour, and it's a special thing that we do for our collectors and some of our patrons that have been to past things, the board of the museum and all the directors for the other arts institution. It's sort of our way to reach out to other arts institutions and kind of reach across barriers, because Sarasota arts community really needs to rally around the idea of the arts rather than I'm for the opera, I'm for the theater, I'm for the museum, I'm for contemporary art. We want that to be, all the high tide floats all boats is my theory, or one that I like that my grandfather said all the time.
How long has this been in the planning?
I've been planning this show for about 6 months since our inaugural exhibition, and then with the group for about 3 months. And what I do is I come up with an idea in a space, then I rally the troops and get them to buy into the idea, and then we do it as a group, and it's more of a committee sort of thing where we decide as a group who's going to be in, what pieces are going to be in, how the thing is thing. Basically what I'm doing for the group is more exhibit design. I help curate and exhibit, design the spaces so that it flows well. I just have experience doing that, working for the Ringling Museum for 10 years and in the industry, so it just sort of like a fish in water. Give me an empty space and let me make it pretty.
What about what range of artists, of styles?
We've got everything from drawing, photography, digital, sculpture, and installation, and painting. So it runs the entire gambit of styles and techniques. And that's what the show is about showing all those different things and how they mesh together, how those people work in cooperation, and there is some collaborative pieces that cross some of those borders as well.
And what about SRQ? Tell me about their...
SRQ is a collective of, I don't want to say disenfranchised, but there really hasn't been a home for contemporary artists in Sarasota. Several galleries have been closed, and even with the galleries here, it's really about giving Sarasota an answer when somebody asks you, where is contemporary art? And we wanted to be the answer to that. So rather than having to go all over town and find people's studios in their homes and their garages and in warehouses, we're one location. We've got a website. We're eventually going to have our own building and gallery, but right now we're just using these beautiful empty spaces that are around town and cooperating with real estate agents and storefront people and people that own some of the museums and gathering these artists together. So in one location you can see the run of all these different techniques and all these fantastic artists that are here in town. There's great collectors in Sarasota that go and say, I have to go to New York this season to buy a painting for this room that I've just designed in my house. Well, my answer is you do not. The answer for contemporary art is SRQ. We can place you in a studio of a great artist tomorrow, 2 blocks from your house that you didn't know about. So I think that that's really, the overall umbrella that is SRQ, is that there's great contemporary art happening in your own community. You just don't know about it. And I don't like that whole people having the prideful statement of, it's the best kept secret. I think that that's crap. Let's get the word out there and share with each other, you know?
Absolutely. All right, so walk me through.
Okay, and then we're entering Jeff Schwartz. Jeff Schwartz his work is about experiencing roadside attractions and the Florida kitsch sort of feel that you drive by every day, but something about the spaces when they're the emptiest. You know, you go by the Hobnob that you see all the time with people in it, but if you go by it at 6 in the morning, there's this ghost ethereal, sort of timeless quality to it. It could be 1940 or it could be yesterday. And the drawings and the experiential photography, and then he paints versions of it all together, and they're hodgepodged from 6 or 7 photographs that he uses for reference, so that he creates this sort of fisheye, forced perspective space that gives it kind of really depth and this history and this kind of timeless quality.